Coming up on this episode of DL Weekly, a new Magic Key holder event. 2 longer-term projects should be wrapping up soon. Space is taking a break.
A new shopping experience is coming to DCA. Imagineering is looking into AI. We talk about the recent Disney company earnings and more. DL Weekly starts now.
Hello, everyone. Welcome aboard the DL Weekly podcast. Please lower your head and watch your step while boarding. If this is your first time listening, we hope you'll check out our website at DLWeekly.net. If you have more time to spend, becoming an official weekly tier at DLWeekly.net/support is an especially good value. Thanks for traveling with us today, and we hope you have a happy and memorable listen to this week's episode.
Well, hello and welcome to this episode of DL Weekly for the week of August 16th, 2023. I'm Teg Bushman, back from a journey around Europe.
And I'm Teresa Urban. Thank you to Charles W. for becoming an official weekly tier on our Patreon. Our supporters get some pretty fun perks like DL Weekly swag, bonus content, and access to our Discord community. A special thank you to Sheena B., Dylan H., Kristen K., and Jason M. for your continued support. If you would like some more Disney magic in your day, head on over to DLWeekly.net/support to join the community.
Well, if you want to support the show with a one-time payment, well, you can buy us a churro. Head on over to DLWeekly.net/churro to support us with a churro. Thank you to all of our listeners who have supported the show in any way possible.
Now, before we get to the news, breaking, as you may have realized, a familiar voice has finally returned after his adventures. 8 weeks of adventures, 7 weeks of adventures, 1 week of mishap in Europe. Welcome back to the show, Tag. We're very excited to have you back.
It was a great time in Europe. I think, did we talk about this? Are we going to talk about the trip as like a bonus episode this month?
Maybe for like a bonus episode.
Yeah, a bonus episode. I'll talk about my trip. Producer James can come on too. We had a lot of fun. One thing that I don't know if we'll get to in our discussion topic today, but one thing that I was telling Teresa I'd like to talk about is actually how lucky we are to have Disneyland as our park, because lots of reasons, which we can talk about.
Well, and you covered, I think, in episode 295 or 296 when we were talking about Disneyland Paris.
Sure. Yeah, but now that, it's been a little while, reflecting on some stuff, sometimes when things are really fresh, there's a lot of, emotions with it, whatever. But anyway, I'm happy to be back, and I'm so glad that everybody is doing well.
Spoiler alert, however, Tag will not be on next week's show because he, James, and their new exchange student are actually going on a family trip to, you guessed it, Disneyland.
And a cruise.
Also a cruise. So Tag will be off next week, but things will be back to DL Weekly normal again in 2 weeks. So.
And then I don't know when I'm taking the next time off, but.
Never.
When are you taking off? It's your turn to take some weeks off.
Yeah. Well, now let's get to the news.
Well, there is a new themed event exclusive to Magic Key holders. The Magic Key Dance Party takes place in Disney California Adventure Mondays through Thursdays from August 14th through August 31st in the Disney Junior Theater from 6 to 9 p.m. There'll be character meet and greets, photo ops, and a Magic Key magnet party favor.
Are you sad that you're going to miss this?
Why would I miss it?
Are you going to be in the park on Thursday? It's Monday through Thursday.
Oh, no, I will miss it. I will miss it.
So you'll be there right when this is going on, but not the days that it's offered.
Correct.
I think this is a fun... it's something small, right? It's not like confetti and streamers and fireworks and all that. But I think it's a really fun thing for them to do to welcome back Magic Key holders after their summer blockouts. There is a fun little magnet that has, it looks like it's Huey, Dewey, and Louie and Donald and Daisy, kind of in the new stylized fashion of animation. And it looks like you can pop them out of it, and then you have a cartoon-looking photo frame.
Oh, that's cool. What's the last thing that the resort has done for Magic Key holders? It's been a while, hasn't it?
There's been a couple of things.
Oh, see, I'm out of the loop.
But yeah, there's been a couple of small things that there's an artwork thing for Toontown that they did. That's the thing I can think of the most right off. But not like a
party.
Oh yeah, no, there hasn't been a party. Huh. I wonder if we're gonna still have, because remember they were doing there was a Magic Key month now. I don't remember.
I thought it was like February or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was kind of an off month. So I wonder if we're going to continue to have Magic Key month or if we're going to keep seeing some of these fun Magic Key bonus things. I think it's fun. I think it's extra needed for Disneyland since it's more of a locals park, and it speaks more volumes for Disneyland Magic Key holders. So I like this. A rethemed eatery in New Orleans Square is nearing completion. Tiana's Palace, which was rethemed from the French Market, is looking closer and closer to completion. Tables and chairs are set up and ready. The exterior theming appears to be complete, and work is wrapping up on what can be seen on the inside. At this point, it looks like it could open at any time.
I'm super excited because I think I'm just going to miss it in all honesty, but I'm hoping that while we're there, this will open, because if they already have the tables and chairs out, that seems like something you do like right before.
And they're like set, like you could have people use them.
Yeah.
It's not just that, because like a week or so ago, the tables and chairs, I don't even think we reported on it because the tables and chairs were there, but they were just kind of like stacked.
Yeah.
But no, these are like in place as though anybody could just...
One of the coolest things I saw, and it's such a thing that I care about that nobody else is probably going to care about or think is cool, was I was watching David over at Fresh Baked's latest construction video that he posted as we record this yesterday, but Monday the 14th of August. And he was zooming in to try to see like the inside.
Oh, yeah.
And the doors are automated, like automatic, like, but they're not sliding. They like fold like accordion wise.
Cool.
And he was watching a guy like mop, and it kept like opening, and then it would close. And I'm like, that's really cool looking. You might have already reported on this, but I'll give my opinion about it. It looks like they have moved the mobile order window to the side, and it looks like that's going to be a much better setup for that
what do you
than
think
what it
of
was
the
before.
Overall theming and decor? Because that was like nothing when you left, and that's kind of all come into place while you've been gone.
I have some thoughts. So one is, I obviously really like it at night. It is like a beacon of light. It reminds me, they've toned it down in recent years, but for a while there, when Sleeping Beauty Castle had like the winter lights on it, it was like blinding at the end of Main Street. That's kind of how I feel like Tiana's Palace is the videos that I've seen, again, that David from Fresh Bake posted at night, is just bright. Like, I feel like it's going to light up the entire side of the park. I don't know. They have to dim that during Phantasmic or something, because that's just way too bright.
Yeah.
I'm worried because they had the concept art where Tiana was up on the balcony, like, waving to people. And there is, like, a small section that doesn't have the, like, canopy, but that doesn't seem, like, large enough for that. So I don't know what's going to go on with that. But overall, I like it. I think it looks really good. It feels weird now that, like, we went from having nothing Princess and the Frog, and now we're going to have not only a restaurant, but we're also going to have an attraction,
and we have the little shop
and the shop. Like, it just seemed like it went. What is it? A delay of like 10 years? Since the movie came out. What do you think of the whole thing? I know you probably talked about it on the podcast, but I didn't hear it.
I'm excited. As you remember, maybe I was not thinking this was a needed change, and I didn't understand why they were doing this, because it felt like they were just putting an IP on an existing location and making some tweaks to the menu. However, seeing it kind of unfold and come together has been building excitement for me. I think the smokestacks and the iron work that they added make it look like a more elevated, elegant experience. And the lights look really, really cool. There's like lanterns in one of the trees. There's like, I think they call
lanterns
the
too.
Popcorn lights. They're like those globe lights kind of all over the place. It just looks like it looks like it's going to be...
$1 million question with all of this work. Is the mint julep line going to be any better?
I don't think I've seen any changes for the mint julep line.
I'm just wondering if are reworking a queue, because that is a mess over there.
Yeah, I almost wonder if they don't add the mint julep to the Tiana's Palace menu in addition to the mint julep bar. So if you only want a mint julep, you can get it at the mint julep bar. But if you're getting a mint julep with your food, so you have, I think that's the problem. Supply and demand. You've got a really high demand and this tiny little area that's supposed to be supplying it. So I think mint juleps need to branch out a little bit. So maybe have it at Tiana's Palace so you can order them there as well as the mint julep bar.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't see how they didn't do it that much. They just kind of, it looks like they just did new paint over there. So I don't think they really did much to help with the flow.
Okay. Yeah, because I just feel like if they're going to go through all this work, that was something that always seems The last couple times I've been there, it's really stretched into New Orleans Square or towards the train track, and it's just been...
It's a pinch point.
Not great. Mm-hmm. Well, fans of the Adventureland Treehouse can cheer. Much of the scaffolding around the attraction has come down, and many of the new sections can be seen by guests. The work looks to be wrapping up with an opening date still unannounced. Judging by the amount of work left to complete, it should be open in the next couple months. This is another thing that I was hoping would be open when we're there, but I don't think it's going to be.
This seems to be moving at its own slow and steady pace. So obviously we don't know all of the details surrounding what's been taking so long, but it is crazy exciting that the scrims are down and you can see some of the different work in progress. You can see the pipes for the water features all over the place. The water wheel is installed, but it's still under wraps, so it's not fully open yet. I'm really excited. This is going to sound terrible, but I need to look at old pictures of what Tarzan's treehouse looked like compared to what this looked like to compare. It hasn't been that long, but I feel like it's been a really long time, and I'm having trouble remembering what the difference is between, obviously, the water stuff.
I think that it's difficult because they had that entrance that was in the middle, which blocked a lot of what you could see.
That's true.
So I think even if you were to take a wide angle shot from, further back where a lot of these photos have been taken showing the progress, I don't think you would see as much.
That's true.
I'm really excited to get up there and walk around because I feel like it's definitely going to feel different.
Yeah, the inside for sure is going to have a different feel. Maybe you can't tell as much from the exterior, but the rooms for sure will be much different. Well, and they added the room that was where the Jaguar was, the one that's closest to Pirates.
Again, most of my information about this has come from watching a couple of David's fresh baked construction updates, and he always he has names for everything, and he was always saying the boys' room or the daughter's room. So it's all these rooms. Mm-hmm. He's obsessed about this because
he's been following this closely.
In a construction update that lasts maybe 30 minutes, he probably spends 15 on the tree, and sometimes excited. I'm like, is there really that much for you to be looking at? But he's very excited, and you got to admit his enthusiasm is infectious.
Well, a popular Tomorrowland attraction, which rarely closes for refurbishment, will be closing on September 18th. Space Mountain is scheduled to close with no posted reopening date at this time. It's too late in the season for the Ghost Galaxy overlay, but there have been reports of the light tunnel at the beginning of the attraction not working properly.
Yeah, so this seems interesting to me because the pictures and some videos that I saw is that the blue lighting as you go up the first lift hill and kind of go through that first tunnel, they said they were having problems with it, and all I'm thinking is, well, is it burnt out lights? Is it a bad fixture? Is this not something you can do after hours? Why would you have to stop it for a whole refurbishment?
This is my 2 cents. I don't think it's that.
Okay.
When was it ever a possibility to get stuck on Space Mountain with the lights on? It was unheard of. Well, recently, I would say since the parks reopened, probably.
Sure.
It seems to happen often, daily, in fact. You and I, that one December trip, got stuck on Space Mountain twice.
True.
In one short, 3-day trip at the parks. So I think there's something going on with the attraction itself, and I'm going to speculate on that because there is no end date. If it was something as simple as fixing the tunnel and fixing the lights, they'd have an end date. They'd know that's only going to take this amount of time. But the fact that there's no end date posted on this one makes me think this might be something bigger that they're going to address, which to me, it's been having a rough go.
You're way nicer than I am, because I would just attribute that to the fact that after COVID, people just suck and don't listen as well as they used to, and a lot of their stops are usually cascading.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's part of it, but I also think there might be something else going on too.
Yeah,
that's not helping with
that.
Well,
we'll have to wait and see.
People, I feel, people are always an issue too if people weren't loading fast enough or unloading fast enough, since it's it's all about timing. So that, that's always been in play, but I feel like there's something else going on.
Sure. Well, we'll have to wait and see.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Tiki fans should be happy to hear about a couple of new items that have arrived at the resort. There is a Trader Sam's Enchanted Tiki bag, which is made of woven straw and has embroidery, beads, and shells on it. It can be found at the Disney's Fantasia shop at the Disneyland Hotel. The other item is a chip and dip bowl set for $69.99. The set looks like half of a barrel with Trader Sam's written on the side. The coral reef bottom is split into sections for dips. This is available at the Adventureland Bazaar.
You're going to laugh.
And how much was the, I didn't put the price there, I thought I did, for the tiki bag?
$74.99 for the tiki bar
steep.
bag.
That's steep.
You're going to laugh. You're going to laugh at me.
Uh-oh.
So when I first saw this news story, I got so excited because I thought it was a Chip and Dale bowl, not a chip and dip bowl. I thought it was themed to the adorable little chipmunks. Like, I thought they had tiki-fied the chipmunks.
Oh.
Like how the tiki mug that just sold out was the Hatbox Ghost.
Yeah.
I thought it was like a Chip and Dale.
How did you get Chip and Dale out of this?
I just read it quick. I read it quickly. Chip and dip, Chip and Dale. It is not. Spoiler alert, does not have the adorable chipmunks on it, but it is fun. It looks like a barrel, like has been cut in half, and that's like your bowl, and then it looks like coral maybe on the bottom. I see sea stars, barnacles, all that.
Yeah, and then it's got like a little spot for you to put stuff. I think it's cool. I would buy this, but I'm not going to spend the $70 on it.
Do you think that, so there's two pieces. Do you think that second piece sits on top of the bowl?
I think this is the bowl.
Yeah, I think that's the bowl. But do you think that sits on top of the bowl?
No, this is what it sits in to hold it up.
Oh, I
so
get
this bowl comes
yes,
off.
I get it.
And then this is the bottom.
Oh.
Yeah, bowl bottom.
Yeah, interesting. I guess maybe that's for cleaning purposes that they come apart. I would have thought they were attached. It's cute. I like it though.
I think they're a little pricey, but I know that's not going to stop anybody from buying these things. So I think they're cool. I think anything they have from Trader Sam's and anything tiki is wonderful.
I love it too. Yeah.
And they should have more.
Well, a new shopping experience is coming soon to Avengers Campus. The Avengers Vault is the name of the new location that will open mid-September in part of the Avengers headquarters building under the Quinjet. Infinity Saga relics will be sold along with other Avengers merchandise. The new shop will replace the Superstore featuring the Avengers. That location will close on September 14th.
So the question is, so they say that like it'll open mid-September. Now, the Superstore is closing on the 14th. Do you think that's the day that this new one will open, or do you think there'll be like a couple day like to move some stuff over?
Yeah, I guess this is my guess. I'm going to assume the official opening of the new location is the 15th, and the official closing date is the 14th. So you can shop
one will close the night.
Yep,
and then...
you can shop at the Superstore on the 14th, and then you can shop at the Avengers Vault on the 15th.
Yeah, this is another one of those projects around the resort that
it's been taking a while.
It's been taking a while, and it's just a shop. So I'm like, what's taking so long?
And it's we're building the attraction backwards. We're starting with the gift shop that you exit through.
Now, what do you think they're going to do with the old Superstore location?
No, there's so many possibilities.
I did not realize you'd be that excited.
I am very excited about it because that whole corner of the park
is depressing.
Is kind of we're gonna call it's a blank canvas. You could You
could call it depressing, but we're gonna call it a blank canvas.
It's a blank canvas. There's a lot of opportunity in that corner, and I wasn't very.
You sound like
happy.
A politician. Like, let's pick all the fun names.
No. I wasn't very happy because Avengers Campus seemed to be moving in slowly but surely. We all know.
I think that's a long-term plan.
Don't say that. You know, I was nervous that we're doing Rogers the Musical because that's another step over. We already have I don't even know what to call it. There's kind of like that photo op area across from the restrooms.
Yep.
That's now, it had Moon Girl, but now it's rethemed to Spider-Man and his friends.
Yep.
And then you have the Avengers store. So the Avengers store in that location only made sense to me before Avengers Campus opened. The fact that it lingered for so long after Avengers Campus opened, I was like, that to me, that's too much. Like if Avengers Campus were to kind of take over that entire back corner, that's too much. I feel like that's too much real estate for one universe IP, whatever you want to call it. I would like to see something else.
What do you think they should do in that back corner?
I don't know.
See,
I'm also not saying they need to get rid of Monsters Inc. because I think that's adorable.
That store is huge.
It is huge.
So you could put a whole attraction in there.
Uh-huh.
There's also the other place where they've done like the Olaf meet and greet stuff.
And
that could be
most
something.
recently was a photo op with Captain Marvel.
But that was on the front. Like there's inside. Yeah. So
there's opportunities.
I am very excited that I get to experience Rogers the Musical. What did you think of people's reactions to it?
I'm surprised. I am surprised that it's getting as positive of reviews. I'm very happy for everyone that enjoys it.
Mice Chat did say that they did not have trouble getting any virtual queue locations for it recently, so maybe that is proving what you thought, which is everybody who's going to want to go see it will see it right away, and then it'll just kind of fizzle off, and I think that's what's happening.
But a lot of people that love it have been seeing it
multiple times,
so
I'm really excited to see it. I just don't know. Yeah, and I've heard it's great. It's short. I think they need something in there,
Mind you, the only thing I've been able to experience has been a YouTube video of the
What did you think of it?
Which is never the same as seeing it
Right,
in
but
person.
what did you think of what you saw?
I thought it was a little
cheesy,
a little odd in some parts. Mm-hmm.
But overall, did you think it was like a good attempt?
I think it was okay. Yeah.
Okay. Better than you thought it was going to be?
It was better than I thought, because I wasn't sure how you were going to expand upon the one song.
Was the music good?
There were songs I enjoyed, and there were some songs that I was a little maybe more confused by. I'm not going to give you any. We'll talk about it once you've seen it.
No, I was just curious.
Sway your thoughts.
No, I'm going in expecting that I'm going to think it's like cheesy fun.
Nick Fury has a song, and that's what confuses me.
Okay, well, I'm excited to see Nick Fury have a song. All right, well, McDonald's
if that wasn't confusing enough.
Yeah, McDonald's is partnering with Disney to offer a new sauce. Not a Happy Meal or anything, but a sauce to help promote the second season of the Disney Plus show Loki. The new sauce will be sweet and sour and available like any of the other sauces. The Loki-inspired sauce is available for a limited time, so head to McDonald's if you want to try it. I had to, go on a scavenger hunt to find what the sauce was, because they're like, it's going to be a sauce. And it launched, I think, yesterday as we're recording
did
this.
It? Okay, I was just going to say, when does it go?
And I was trying to figure out, okay, well, what is it going to be?
I think this is, I just watched, the 14th was when it officially was out in local McDonald's stores. This is interesting to me. I think I really like that they're doing this as something that you can get with anything. So it's not like a specific burger or a specific meal or a specific drink that's Loki themed. It's a sauce that you can enjoy with whatever you want to enjoy it with. So if you want to dip your sandwich or your fries or whatever, or if you just want to drink the sauce, nobody's going to judge you. But I think that's interesting. I think that's really cool, because previously it's been, I think it was like Grimace's birthday meal. So if you wanted to have the theme thing, you had to buy the full meal, sort of thing.
Or the Happy Meals when they had all the toys.
Yep. Which they still have all sorts of different toys. But this is just unique in the fact that you can add it to any order.
One of the we're live streaming this episode to our supporters, and one of our folks in the chat, Brandon, said it tastes just like the regular sweet and sour. They got it yesterday.
Oh, so that's well, it's at least hopefully got more interesting packaging than just regular sweet and sour sauce. Well, the new Disney card game Lorcana has released its final trailer ahead of the launch of the game later this week. Disney Lorcana was announced, and some of the cards were shown off at the D23 Expo last year. The game is similar in playstyle to Magic the Gathering and Pokemon.
I will tell you, I don't know what it is about this game. It hasn't released yet. But people are obsessed with it already. And you were looking at eBay posts for the D23 cards months ago, and they were going for a lot of money.
Which, it's just so wild to me, because you and I were at D23. We got our free card from them. It was a little Taylor Mickey card. They were also selling a set of 5 cards, maybe it was.
I don't remember.
And it was, now I don't remember, $50 to $75 to purchase the set of just 5 cards. And you and I both looked at each other and were like, well, they're really cool looking, but we know nothing about the game, so I don't know if I really want to spend $50 to $75 on something I don't know if it's going to be.
They were D23 Expo exclusives too, weren't they?
However, joke was on us, because those exact cards went for hundreds and hundreds of dollars. People were reselling those cards, and people were buying them for ridiculous amounts of money. And I'm with you. I'm just like, what? I was actually speaking with one of my coworkers, and he's a big Pokemon fan, and he's got all these different websites that he goes to rate cards and value cards, and I think he was seeing that card we got for free, the Taylor Mickey card, was still, people were still paying a couple $100s for that Brave Little Mickey card.
Wow.
I'm just so curious. The hype has got me very interested in what's going on.
Yeah, I'm curious what it is, because I never played Magic. I never played Pokemon. None of those games were never for me. So we'll have to wait and see. Maybe we'll have to... I know that like there's some local game stores here in the area that like you could probably go and like maybe play a demo of it or something. Maybe we should do something like that. Who knows? Well, Disney and Walt Disney Imagineering are creating a task force to explore AI possibilities. Imagineering has already used AI in at least one project that has already been shown to guests. The Baby Groot character in DCA used AI to help give life to the character. Disney is looking to use AI to enhance customer support and create new experiences, like this Baby Groot one, for guests.
I'm hesitantly curious about this.
Sure.
Because I think it could be something very useful, but I don't want it to take away from from people that have jobs. Like, I don't want it to replace like the customer service call center line or something like that. Like, it makes me nervous. I think there's a lot of really amazing things that people can do and unlock with AI, but I don't want it to replace, especially cast members, because cast members are just very special and unique in the whole customer service realm. So So I'm what are your thoughts? You're way more tech minded than I am.
I think the thing is I think when ChatGPT came out and everybody like got excited about it last November, December, something like that. I think that people had never seen something like this, so it looked really cool. But then I think after the kind of like surface level excitement went away, I think that when you started looking at it harder, it wasn't as good as everybody thought it was.
Sure, yeah.
And I think so many people were jumping on the bandwagon, and I think there's a lot of things we don't know about it, and it's only as good as the data that you train it on. So I think maybe with a company like Disney, you could like load an entire company policy and handbook into it, and maybe instead of calling to reschedule something or get a refund for something, the AI could like fix it for you. But I think people want to interact with people.
Yeah.
I don't think people really want to interact with machines, because I don't know about you, but I hate calling somewhere. James was having this frustration. He was trying to call Southwest the other day.
Yeah, when you press 1.
Just to find something out, and he was like, reservations. And they're like, your check-in time is tomorrow. He's like, I didn't say check-in. I said reservations.
Yeah.
And he had to call them 3 times before the automated thing heard him correctly. So I just think people are so much nicer, especially with customer service. Now, when it comes to things like experiences with like characters, if you could load all of the movies that Baby Groot were in, is a great example, into an AI and then it like generates stuff that he would say, that's kind of cool.
I'm okay with that. If it can aid in like creative processes for the Imagineers to bring stuff to life, like with the Baby Groot character that we've seen, I think that's a good use. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
I think it helps them to push more boundaries, which is what Disney Imagineering does.
I think if they could do, like, for instance, I was watching a video recently that was talking about the fully animated Mickey Mouse heads.
Oh, yeah.
And how they went away and all this stuff. I think it'd be really cool. You still have the cast member. Spoiler, magic, spoiler, magic, spoiler, magic, spoiler. You still have the friend of Mickey, right? And if the head of Mickey could hear a guest talk and come up with a reply and respond instead of having canned responses that are very limiting, if they could have a full, realistic learning conversation from you, like, what's your name? Haha. And you're like, Teresa. Well, hi, Teresa. How are you doing today? And you're like, we're great. We went and did this. Oh, I've loved to go over there and eat that too, or whatever. Like, that would be a cool experience. Cool. So maybe AI will do something like that where it'll be very limited to a character or an experience.
But it just enhances.
Yeah, exactly.
I like it. This past week, the Walt Disney Company had its quarterly earnings call. Disney CEO Bob Iger commented that he sees 3 growth segments of the businesses: the film studios, the theme parks, and streaming. That is great news for park fans. Attendance and earnings were up for Disneyland and way up for the international parks. Walt Disney World is in a slump post 50th anniversary, which was expected.
Well, we're going to talk about this in our discussion topic, so I'm just going to move to the next one because we'll get into our thoughts in our discussion topic. During the earnings call, the subject of Disney Plus password sharing was mentioned. CEO Bob Iger commented that they are looking into it and will address password sharing on the platform in 2024. This follows Netflix, which has already successfully started cracking down on the common practice. Actually, I'm very surprised with the Netflix version of this because Netflix did it. Everybody thought, well, people are just going to leave Netflix. A lot of people, because Netflix gave them the ability to take their account and move it to a new account and not lose all their recommendations and view history, a lot of people converted to a new account.
Sure.
So it actually did raise the revenue and do all the things that Netflix had hoped. So I don't know if Disney will do something like this, but I hope, because I think that's what you have to do. You have to make it easy for people to be like, okay, we're not going to allow you to share this anymore. But if you don't want to lose all the stuff you have on the platform, because some people, especially with Netflix, spent years watch histories and rating things so they have recommendations that fit them. Disney Plus isn't quite like that, but it would be nice to be able to do that.
Pilots, we've detected some producer questions near Jakku. Report to your DLWeekly vessels and make the jump to hyperspace. The 7-7 Squadron will provide support during your trivia mission. Good luck, and may the Force be with you.
Hello and welcome to Trivia Land. They let me out. I'm back. It's me, producer James. Hi, good to see you again.
I mean, I've been seeing you, so.
Yes.
I haven't. Welcome back, James.
Thank you. It's good to be back. I'm excited to start asking some trivia questions again. Hopefully we get some good stuff. I know Vern's been a little hit or miss with you on some of these weeks. Definitely tough. So, hopefully we keep that trend going.
You missed a good week. We did a Haunted Mansion themed week.
What makes you think I would have been good at that?
They were good questions.
I still haven't seen the movie. I still haven't seen the Indiana Jones movie either. I'm very sad about both of these things.
We will have to remedy that.
I was gonna say, there's all sorts of time, and if there's not time, there's Disney Plus. If you can't see it in the theater.
Yeah.
Disney Plus.
Now, was Haunted Mansion worth seeing in the theater?
I mean, so I had a unique experience because I got to see it for the D23 event. So I was in a theater full of Disney fans versus just a theater.
Is the movie something that, like, watching it on TV, watching it on my home theater system, I would, like, lose out on something?
I don't think so.
Okay. Because we saw Oppenheimer, and that was something that I highly recommend that people go see in a theater.
Now wait. Chris is saying yes. Indy, no. Well, hang on. I guess I don't know. Yes, you can see it. Like, yes, you can watch it on your home, or yes, you want to see it in the theater.
If that's the case for Indy, it doesn't really matter because Indy's gone already from the theater, so that's okay.
Mansion was so good.
Anyway, James, we're in Trivia Land.
We are in Trivia Land, though Movie Land is fun to go through as well. But let's dive into our question. Our first question this week comes from listener Kevin M. The question is, in the Pirates of the Caribbean attraction, how many hats does the balancing pirate, also known as the Hat Thief, have on his head?
A lot.
16.
You think it's only 16?
16. I don't know. It's a number that popped in my head. 16.
Because they're like on each other.
I don't know, man. I just said 16, so pick a different number.
Ooh.
I'm just going to let the answers flow through me tonight.
See, this is where I get stuck on things, because I always feel like a lot of things in Disney, like the details, right?
Just pick a number.
Have significance. So I'm trying to think of what are some significant numbers. I think it's more than 16, so I don't think it's 13.
23?
Maybe. We'll go with 23.
I love how I gave you the number.
16 and 23. Let's go with it. All right, moving on. Question number 2. In Disney California Adventure, name one of the 2 attractions with the shortest height requirement. Just as a reminder, not all attractions have a height requirement.
That's
so. Are we picking attractions that specifically have a height requirement?
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Okay. I think there's a height requirement. Isn't there a height requirement on the Emotional Whirlwind?
Yes, there is.
So I'm going to say the
Fear's standing with the little.
I'm going to say the emotional whirlwind. See, I think James picked this one because we're going to Disneyland with a 3-year-old, and he's been looking at measurements to make sure that the 3-year-old can go on things. And he's a tall 3-year-old, so he's going to be able to go on pretty much anything. You said just DCA, though.
Just DCA.
I'm going to say Soarin'.
That's
I think
guess there.
Monsters.
Do you think
Inc.
Monsters Inc. has a height requirement?
Maybe.
I don't.
No.
No, they make the little ones go in the inside.
Let me think.
Now I've already written it for you. You're committed.
It's not how it works.
What was your first one? Oh, Emotional Whirlwind.
Emotional whirlwind, and maybe it's the pal around. That doesn't seem right either, though. I gotta not look at the chat because people are putting in stuff, and I don't want to pick any of those things.
See, I've been considering all of those as well.
Height requirement, but the shortest height requirements.
Shortest.
Radiator Springs Racers. There's a height requirement, so I'll say Radiator Springs Racers.
What's Racers?
So we're going with Soarin' and Racers?
He's doing Emotional Whirlwind and Racers. I'm saying...
Oh, I just need one of the two. So, But if you want to give me two guesses...
Oh, you just need one?
I just want you to give me one of the two.
Oh.
But if you want to guess two to make yourself feel better,
I'll just
totally
stick with
fine.
Emotional Whirlwind.
And I'm going to go with Soarin'.
All right, very good. Question number 3. What is the name of the device that sends out smells from the candy shop on Main Street?
Smell it, sir.
What? First of all, I didn't hear the question because you're quieter than the air conditioning, James. And second, what?
The question was, what is the name of the machine that sends out the smells on Main Street, in front of?
And
the
you know
shop?
that it's a smellitzer?
That's the gut reaction. So I feel like I did. Maybe I made that up. I don't think I did.
I'm just gonna hitch my wagon to your horse because that
weird,
sounds like
all
something.
Of those, all of those books and stuff I read, things stick in there. So you're gonna.
Yeah, I'm gonna hitch my wagon to your horse.
So we're going with Smell It, sir.
Yeah,
All
that
right.
sounds like something.
Or maybe it's something from Dr. Seuss. That also could be.
Well, we're going off the cliff together. That's okay.
All right,
But it'll smell good.
I mean, you'll have fun together, right? Our last question from listener Sarah P. Club 33 is modeled after something from the 1964 New York World's Fair. What would that be?
Okay, what?
It's modeled after something. I think it's modeled after one of the It's modeled after one of the lounges from one of the sponsors,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna say Pepsi, maybe.
I don't think it was Pepsi.
Ford. I'm gonna change it to Ford.
I'm
Ford.
going with Ford.
The
sure
Ford
that's
sponsorship lounge or whatever.
Yeah, Ford. Now that we've talked about Club 33, I'm revisiting my hat thought. Maybe he's got 33 hats.
Well, do you want to change your answer to 33?
No.
Okay.
We're well past that now.
So you're both going with the Ford Executive Lounge?
Yep.
Great. 4 questions down. Do we have 4 right answers? Well, we'll find out. Maybe you have 4 right answers, but they don't. We'll get to the right ones after the discussion topic this week, though. So stay tuned.
All right. Well, for this week, our discussion topic is going to revolve around the Walt Disney Company kind of earnings call. It was their third quarter earnings call where they talked about a bunch of different things. And we just kind of wanted to talk about it a little bit, give kind of our opinions and kind of maybe come up with maybe what we would do with the company possibly. So,
well, and just kind of break down the information that was given in the call, because not everyone was able, including ourselves. We went back and read about the call. We didn't listen to the call as the call was given, but I think it's important because there's a lot of different things to kind of unpack during these calls, but not everybody has the time to listen to the call or go read about all the different things of the call. So we kind of wanted to present it to you here to kind of give you a little bit more information. So the first topic that we're going to discuss is the film studios. And this is kind of interesting because there's a couple of things going on here. So the films have not been doing well. I don't think that's any big secret. A lot of the animated and even I feel so bad to say this because I love it so much. Haunted Mansion is not huge, big box office hits. Now, I think Haunted Mansion coming out the same time Barbie and Oppenheimer came out just kind of totally shot itself in the foot. But the thing that I really love about the Haunted Mansion was that was a film for the fans. Like, that was not just them trying to have the next big thing like Frozen. It was them. It was kind of their love letter to the fans of the attraction of the parks. I thought it was really cool. I can't wait for you to see it, Tag. I really
want to see it. I really want to see it.
But things like Elemental were not as big of a hit as they were hoping. So,
which was also a good movie, by the way. I did see that one.
I haven't seen that one yet. I've been very excited about it, but I haven't seen it yet.
Why did you see it?
I don't know why I haven't seen it. I guess I'm just going to wait for Disney Plus because it's not in the theaters anymore. But Iger was saying that they're going to try and correct this kind of slump by, quote, improving the quality of our films and by not just reducing the number of titles we release, but also the cost per title. So I'm really excited about the first half, improving the quality of films, because that's, letting the creatives be more creative. I'm not as excited about the cost per title because I'm not sure what that means exactly.
That sounds to me like they're going to rein in costs.
Yes, that makes me nervous because that might be more hard. I feel like that might make it hard to improve the quality of the films. I'm okay with them reducing the number of titles they release because I think releasing a bunch of movies a year is never going to be a sustainable way to ensure box office success.
Yeah. The film studios are difficult. Mm-hmm. I think a couple things are important to think about here, and this is my opinion on it. First of all, Disney has really bought into, in a lot of ways, either remaking things or coming up with more sequels to things. Yeah. I think Barbie, Oppenheimer both show that an original kind of story from original stuff can be successful, and people were excited to go see these things. The interesting thing with those two movies is there was this weird social moment where they both kind of combined, and we had Barbenheimer.
Yep.
And
which has happened before with other films.
But that wasn't something that the studios made happen. That was just something that naturally happened, and I think it helped both titles.
Oh, yeah. Totally.
Now, Barbie has done extremely well. I have also not seen Barbie, although I've heard great things, and I'd like to go see it at some point. I think I'll wait till it comes out, because I don't think I'll like it that much to go see it at the movie theater, and I don't think it's the type of movie I have to go see in the movie theater. But I think if Disney were to try to focus on making new movies and stop trying to make sequels or more movies in a franchise or whatever, I think that's good. Now, you get things like Elemental, which obviously was not a sequel. I just think that they didn't promote it very well, or didn't market it in a way that, because I didn't know really what it was about. And again, it felt to me, Elemental felt to me similarly, at least from their marketing, like Inside Out. It reminded me of Inside Out, where it seemed like there was, instead of the different emotions, it's the different elements. And I'm like, this kind of seems similar to a story you've already told, Pixar. And I wanted something different and new.
I haven't seen it yet, but from what I can gather,
it is different than that, by the way.
It is different because there's a little bit of a love story with Elemental. There was not a
which is
love
adorable
story for Pixar, for Inside Out. But yeah, I'm with you.
In the marketing, they didn't cover that, though. The marketing, it just looked like elements aren't supposed to mix and all this stuff, which seemed weird.
I'm with you, though. I think original is always going to be much more enticing, and because it's mysterious, you don't know what's going to happen. Whereas remakes, as much as I've enjoyed some of the remakes that they have done, don't get me wrong, for example, Beauty and the Beast. We've seen Disney's telling of Beauty and the Beast animated. Did I need to see the telling with live action? You know what I mean? So it's hard.
Well, however, and Little Mermaid and stuff,
I loved Little Mermaid.
It was good,
I think Little Mermaid. Okay, I'll be real quick because we could go on about this. I think Little Mermaid may have been the exception to that because they well, I guess other ones did. But I think I'm going to keep going with this. Could have been the exception because was it the same story? Yes and no, because you had like the dynamic between Ariel and Prince Eric was different.
Sure.
The setting was different. There. I think for me there was enough differences that it didn't feel like it was the retelling of the animated.
So one of the comments I saw in the link we have in the show notes for our discussion topic today, one of the comments on Mice Chat, who summed up all of the earnings call really well, was that people were saying they're tired of their opinion, just to be clear, was Disney with these live action remakes are going back to movies that had things in them that were problematic, with air quotes, and fixing them. So like the dynamic of all Ariel wanted in the animated version was to be with a man and get married or whatever.
Yeah.
And they fixed that in this because she didn't really care as much. Like the dynamic was different, like you said. Yep. So people were saying, we don't need Disney to make a new movie to fix something that was wrong before. It'd be like trying to remake Song of the South and making it totally different, but still calling it Song of the South and be like, look, we've made a movie that is kind of like that, but we fixed everything. We don't have racism in it and stuff. So I don't necessarily think I agree with that, but I can understand why somebody would feel that way with some of the movies, because they're adding a lot more inclusivity, which is very important, and I think Disney should continue to do. But I think that because they're putting it out there so heavily, there is a segment of people that are turned off by that. I'm not saying that's right. I'm just saying that is people.
Yeah, I don't think I agree that Disney's trying to right their wrongs. I think it's just because, like, I'm thinking of like The Lion King.
The Lion King was like one of the first one of these, though. And
yeah,
they didn't really do anything
but you know what I mean. Like, I can see how if you wanted to say that was a thing, you could connect dots to say that was a thing.
Sure.
But I don't think that's the main motive.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah, I just, yeah. But you were talking about Little Mermaid, just for the record. It is the number 7 highest box office ranked movie for 2023.
Wow. That's awesome.
So that shows you where
Little Mermaid.
Where that kind of sits. Now, in
Elemental's 10, though.
In sadder news, Haunted Mansion 30.
Haunted Mansion just came out. Maybe it's got a little more time.
But the Super Mario Brothers movie, again, another movie that's not a remake, it's not a sequel, it is a franchise, like a video game franchise, but that is the number 1 worldwide box office in 2023 right now, followed by Barbie, and then Guardians of the Galaxy, so, and Fast 10, and Spider-Man Across the Universe. So the top 5, 3 of them are sequels, and 2 of them are not.
Yeah.
I just wish studios in general, but also Disney, would just take a leap on some things more, because I think they're too afraid. They're too timid.
Well,
with these things.
I'm looking at this. Like, of the top 10, I see 1, 2, 3, quote unquote new things that were not remakes or a sequel. Of the top 10, there's 3.
Yeah. Well,
of the top 15, I'm going to say there's still 3, because The Flash, you could say, was a remake.
Yeah. So anyway, but yeah, when it comes to the film studios, I think that they need to let the creatives have some more control over things. There's obviously all the stuff going on. We can't not talk about this real quick. There is the stuff going on with the Writers Guild and the SAG after people and everything. And for the first time ever, Bob Iger did not look like, people love Bob Iger and they thought that he was great with creatives. But he had that interview and people were very upset with him. And I was like,
that was, I mean, take 2 steps back, Bob.
Yeah, well,
just in where he was physically sitting and saying these comments from, was just spoke volumes, absolute volumes. But it makes me sad, because it goes to show there's such a divide between the tippy tops of these companies and the people that are working and produce, coming out with the content that their company, the CEO, is overseeing. There's a huge gap, and there's a huge misunderstanding. Like, they don't understand. Same thing with the parks. Bob Iger's not walking around the park having to use Genie Plus, and having to use mobile order. So of course he thinks those are wonderful things, because he's never had to live that reality to do it. Same thing with Bob Iger doesn't understand what it means to get residuals from films and stuff, because that's not the life that's just not the world that he's in. So it's just I was very disappointed in his comments.
I feel like I don't know anything about this industry. I'm just going to put that out there right before I say all this stuff that could totally come off as ignorant. But I don't understand, why can't media people be paid like most other people? Like, you get paid for the movie, right?
So like I write the movie. How the movie's going to go.
Well, it doesn't matter.
So if it's successful, you make more.
But you still did the work. You know what I mean? Like, if I...
Okay, so you have an idea. I buy your idea for $20. I then turn around and it's worth millions. You're not going to be upset that you sold it to me for $20?
But I made the decision to sell it to you for $20. Maybe I should have asked you for more than $20.
I don't know.
But I also understand residuals, because companies continue to make money on that.
Yes.
So I think the thing is, I think there's this divide right now. And one of the things is that you have people, consumers, don't want to pay that much for stuff. So that's kind of tough, because like we want to pay, we've gotten used to now, they kind of did it to themselves, the studios, is we were used to a couple years ago when we signed up for Disney Plus, what, $3 a month, $4 a month was what we were paying. And now they're up to like 16 or 17 bucks, I think they're going for. But we're used to the idea of like all of this library we can have for like $5. It's really hard to make people pay more when you get it for so cheap. Like, it's hard to backtrack that. Like, these services should have cost more to begin with in that case. Plus, unlike broadcast television, you have very accurate numbers with streaming. There is no reason, if you're a creator, that these companies, not just Disney, but everybody, cannot say 327,402 people watched this, because they have that numbers. They know how much something's been streamed and how many watch hours there has been. So they should be able to accurately say, you know what, Teresa, your movie that you helped write or you starred in has this exact views. In your contract, we give you X amount for so many views, boom. But that shouldn't be the writer or the creator or the actor's problem. That should be the studio's problem. If the studios are having a problem saying, well, we can't make money, well, then you need to charge more for your product. And consumers may not be happy, but stuff costs money.
Well, yeah.
It just is that way.
So, but that's part of the problem. Okay, we will. This could be a whole other thing, and I am by no means the most well versed.
No, me either.
That's part of the problem, is that they aren't getting paid for streaming services, and then another issue too is AI, both for the actors and the writers. So there's a whole lot going on with that, and I really hope, you know us, we're always for the people. So we are on the side of the writers, the actors, the creatives that make what we enjoy, like the Haunted Mansion movie, like Oppenheimer, like the Barbie movie, all these wonderful, wonderful things. We're on their side, so we totally support them.
100%. But I have a question for you. This is kind of contentious.
We are so off topic right now.
But no, we're talking about studios. And then we can move on to the theme parks. Real quick. Do you think Tom Cruise, we'll use Tom Cruise as an example. He's not a Disney person, just Tom Cruise. Do you think that people like Tom Cruise they pull in box office, whatever that means, do you think they should make the millions and millions of dollars per movie that they do? Or do you think they should make less, and that millions of dollars they spend on people should be like spread out better?
I don't really know how to answer that, because I don't know what the gap between the top billed star and the writer versus the production crew versus, I don't know what those gaps are.
I just always thought it was weird that people could make.
It's like anything. It's like
look at
a CEO versus the front end person of whatever said business is. There's always going to be.
Yeah, it's just
anything has a gap. There's so many things that I think need to have less gaps, that need to be closer together. So in that sense, yes.
Yeah.
I think it needs to be more divided better than it has been.
Because it's a group effort, I think.
So moving on.
Theme parks, the things that we really like to talk about.
During the call, Bob did note that, as we addressed earlier, that Walt Disney World revenue did decrease, which they are blaming or saying is due to the fact that so many people visited for the 50th anniversary, and so there was kind of a an influx in people visiting, and so they are kind of saying that they were expecting a dip, but they did also comment that the Orlando Resort's revenue is still up compared to 2019. So
which is good.
It is still trending upwards. It may not have been as good as last year, but we're still moving in the right direction.
Yeah. Disney World, it's interesting because I feel like for a long time, I've talked about this on the podcast a lot. For a long time, Disney World got like all of the new stuff.
It did.
Like Disneyland was kind of like forgotten in the 80s, 90s when they were doing a lot of expansion in Disney World. And now it's kind of like Disney World's in this weird spot. Of course, there's all this stuff going on with the state of Florida, and there's a bunch of stuff going on there. We're not going to get into all that. That's all complicated. But for Disneyland, I'm really just happy that earnings were up for Disneyland Resort because we know Disneyland's a great place. It seems like they're doing a great job with Disneyland. Again, I will contrast my experience at Disneyland to my experience at Disneyland Paris. We do not realize how good we have it at Disneyland. I know we like to complain, which is good because it keeps them on their toes and probably is the reason that it's kept so well. But the upkeep is really good. The cast members seem really friendly. Like, we have a lot of great stuff at Disneyland that I think sometimes we take for granted, especially now that I've seen other parks. So I'm glad that Disneyland can still make money that way. And the international parks, it's interesting because they say the international parks are way up. But if you look at the data, Shanghai Disney Resort was like not even, this time last year, which is what they compare all this stuff to, was not open the whole quarter because there were still closures from COVID. Same thing with Hong Kong Disneyland.
And Tokyo didn't allow international guests.
Japan didn't allow anybody until fairly recently. So it's interesting because they're like, all the international parks are doing great. Well, it's not because Disney did anything spectacular. It's just last year it wasn't even open.
The other thing to note too is there also has been a decline in international visitors, which is
to Disney World.
A big percentage of Walt Disney World's guests are international travelers. But even that, we've seen this, as I'm sure many of you have seen this too, that travel is just much harder recently.
Yes.
There's been, especially international travel, depending on where you're going and coming from, much more difficult, maybe impossible, definitely expensive. We've even seen this just in the United States. Us booking trips to California is at least it's a good price if it's double what it had been previously. So it's just way more expensive to be able to do travel. So it makes sense that international travel has been down, and thus less people have been able to visit Walt Disney World from other countries.
Now,
whereas Disneyland's the locals park, so that is not as big of a hit for Disneyland.
Now we have to remember too that they say earnings are up. Now earnings can do a lot of things. Some people look at earnings and they think, oh, that means like more people are attending Disneyland. Well, that's not necessarily the case. It could be that, they raised the price of t-shirts by $1, and that's going to do that. They raised ticket prices. They raised, they blocked out more Magic Key holders during the summer, which means that more day tickets were sold. So there's all these things. It doesn't mean that more people are necessarily going. It's just, they're making more off of each person. The average revenue per guest thing, which they really care about. They want that average revenue per guest to be higher and higher. Again, Genie Plus, Lightning Lane, all of those things contribute to it. Food. Obviously, you can also have more earnings if you are having less cast members and you have more mobile order, and so you don't have a cashier. So there's all these different things. I'm just glad that the earnings are up for Disneyland Resort because that means the Walt Disney Company is more likely to invest in those segments of the business if they're not losing money. And we've talked about this a lot of times over the course of the podcast, but one of the things that always saddens me is they use profits from the theme parks to subsidize like their TV networks that are not making as much and stuff now. So I wish those things would just stay separate and money made in the parks would get spent back in the parks. I think that would be the best way to go. But anyway, parks are doing pretty okay. Disney World's got some struggles. I don't know what the solution is for that, but
moving on now to streaming. This is always interesting to me because I'm wondering when their little trainee badge gets to be taken off. Bob Iger is still noting that it's a relatively new segment for the company. We've had Disney Plus since 2019, so it's just funny to me because it's like been 4 years. So when is it considered not to be new anymore?
Right.
It was launched in November of 2019. But since then, they have recently done some restructuring to prioritize the strength of Disney's brands and franchises. They're bundling things with Hulu for Disney Plus, all sorts of fun and exciting things. So it's still not performing as well as they would hope, but I think we're slowly but surely. We're like Casey Jr. I think I can.
I think of all the streaming services that we subscribe to, I think Disney Plus would be the one that I get rid of last. Like if I had to like pare down, I think Disney Plus would be the last on my chopping block.
See, I have a hard time because we go in like stints with Disney Plus, and it depends on what's releasing. I think for us, the content that we're most interested in isn't coming out as frequently. But same thing could be said for other streaming services. It seems like it's feast or famine. All the things I'm interested in either are having new drops now, or there's nothing, and then you're like, oh, what am I going to watch? And then you flip to another one. So we haven't found it to be as level, I guess would be a good way of saying it.
I'm in a weird position with this because we were gone for 7 weeks and didn't really watch anything. And so we have like a backlog and there's new series coming out recently. Like I will tell you, Ahsoka, when it comes out in a couple weeks or next week or whenever it is, that is moving to the top of our queue because that is like a must see as soon as it comes out kind of situation, where we have some other shows and stuff that we haven't been watching. But
Secret Invasion's fun.
That's not top of my list right now. With our new exchange student, we've been watching Tough as Nails, which is a reality show with the guy who hosts Amazing Race this.
I've not heard of that.
It was a pandemic show, and they kept it, and they're in Canada this time, which is interesting. But anyway, so we've been watching Netflix. We've been watching Heartstopper season 2, which is great so far. We've already watched like 6 of the 8 episodes, so we'll be coming up on that soon. But anyway, I find that there are things on Disney Plus that I am more likely to want to go watch and want to have easy access to without having to like go find somewhere. You know, I know if it's a Disney property, it's probably on Disney Plus, and I can easily go find it. So I enjoy that. I am not very happy with the fact that they are increasing ad-free subscription pricing coming up, which is, I mean, I'm on the ad-free. My opinion on all of these streaming services is if I have to pay for it, I want it to be ad-free. Like, you can give it to me and have ads, or I could pay for it and you don't give me ads. Like, I look at it like, if I'm going to pay, what I'm paying for is to not have the advertisement.
Yep.
Like, it is already subsidized through your advertisers. I don't want to pay and see ads. I do understand that there's a segment of people that can't afford to pay for the ad-free version. So offering a lower price version that's subsidized through ads, I get that. I will never buy that product because if I'm going to put money out, I don't want to see the ad. I hate ads. I think they're stupid. They don't really work. They don't work on me on TV. They do work on me on Instagram. I have bought a couple things there. So,
I was going to say, you've fallen for ads.
I've fallen for ads.
You have fallen.
I also fall for our chat where people put in like, look what Shop Disney has right now, or like the new popcorn bucket. I'm like, dang it. But anyway.
Password sharing was another topic that was addressed on the call. And they did not elaborate on how Disney plans to address this, but he did say the company does plan to address it next year, so stay tuned. I don't know how I feel about this, because my personal thought process is there are so many different platforms out there. I'm never am I going to actually subscribe to all of them. So I'm going to pick and choose, because to me, it seems ridiculous to be paying all of the different streaming subscriptions to have all the different content. So what I have done is, in the past, I have subscribed to, and currently, I have subscribed to several things, and then say there's a show I want to see on, I don't know. HBO. Yep, that's a good one. There's a show I want to see on HBO. My friend has HBO, and there's a show that he wants to see on Disney Plus. So we would share passwords. I would then watch my one show that I was interested on HBO. He would watch his one show that he was interested on Disney Plus, and then we would just go about watching our normal Prime subscriptions. So I would use it as a one-time thing. I don't see anything wrong with that. Now, if you're that's your only thing that you're watching, okay, yes, maybe you should have your own subscription. But to me, password sharing is more of just unlocking so I can get rent one movie from the library or whatever.
See, what
I feel like there should be, it shouldn't be an all or nothing.
The method that I like, and I wish that streaming services would do, because I think this would solve the problem, is instead of worrying about the password sharing, worrying about what location you're signing in, is offer, you can have 2 simultaneous streams on your account.
There you go.
So if you share your password with 10 people, only 2 of those people can watch at the same time. And I think that solves the problem.
Well, but that even would work for your household because only 2 people in your house can be streaming.
Yeah. But I think
devices.
that's how you deal with it.
Yep.
One thing that frustrates me a lot, and it frustrated me on this trip that I was just on, is if you travel internationally, a lot of things are like geo-restricted, where it's like, I'm sorry, we can't stream that here. I'm like, I am a citizen of the United States. I happened to be in a different country right now. I would like to watch my television. Let me watch the television that I'm paying for. So I wish, this is something that's been around for a long time, and I wish as things go forward, when contracts get renegotiated, I wish they would do, Apple is doing this with all of their stuff, is everything that Apple tries to get for their platform, they negotiate worldwide rights for. So if you can watch it in the US, you can watch it in Britain, you can watch it in China, you can watch it in wherever Apple TV Plus is, you can watch it, and there's not like, this title isn't available in your area. One thing that was cool, we were in Europe, and I pulled up Disney Plus, and they popped up, and it said, some of the viewing things may be different in your area. And I got way more in Europe because we had the Stars tab, which includes all the Hulu stuff.
Yep.
So hopefully when Hulu and Disney, hopefully later next year, merge these things eventually, which I think is the long-term plan, hopefully that'll be the situation here too, because right now we don't pay for Hulu. We used to, and we just pay for Disney Plus.
Yeah.
I'd like to just have them all. Why, if there's something that Disney makes as a content, why should it not just be on the Disney platform? It's so complicated.
Because they were separate, and I'm sure contracts, like you said, too. So it's interesting. So I'm curious to see what this is. I was not impacted with the Netflix password sharing thing, so I don't have any personal knowledge as to how...
Do you pay for Netflix?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't have any personal knowledge as to how that looked for people that had been sharing that then had to, was it... I don't know. I have seen this is what you were saying, the screens thing. Netflix does have a screens thing, but they also don't want password sharing. So they're limiting how many screens you can use at a time in your household.
Yeah.
So that seems, I would think it'd be one or the other.
Well, see, that's what the thing
we're
is.
Not in charge of the universe.
I think that Netflix should just, because they do offer, like, if you buy the higher tier plan, you can have like 4 simultaneous streams. Mm-hmm. Well, if Netflix wanted to crack down password sharing, just cut that down to 2.
Yeah.
Don't worry about like where people are signing in from. Just be like, well, you get 2 streams.
Yep.
And guess what? If you share your password to many people, there might be a time you go to stream something and you can't. And if you're the person paying that bill, you're probably not happy with that. You'll stop sharing your password. Mm-hmm. But anyway, we'll see. The one thing I am disappointed with, which has been really controversial.
You weren't disappointed with anything else?
Well, this one for a brand is the sports betting.
The
ESPN sports betting.
Yeah.
I just think in general, Disney has spent years trying to make sure that their brand was family friendly and had a great reputation. And I think bringing in something like sports betting where people can really get upside down. Some people have trouble with gambling addictions and stuff like that. That would be a big problem. Although I saw somebody comment online that Disney's starting to allow like alcohol at more places in the parks and stuff like that. So maybe they just don't care anymore.
I wouldn't say that it's not that they don't care anymore. I think it's just the company's evolved. We'll say it that way. And I think times are just different too. Because think of when Walt opened the park in 1955 to modern day. Things are just different. So it's more, I don't know. I don't want to say socially acceptable, maybe, but it's more common to offer alcoholic beverages in sit-down locations and sit-down restaurants, maybe than
even
it was then.
Things like tattoos and hair colors, it's more acceptable now.
Yep, it's just different. I personally, overall, and we'll briefly talk about this, is I just think Disney needs to take some time. We talked about this week on the Hubcast. I really think Disney needs to take some time and reevaluate Disney and just come back to its core and what makes Disney Disney. I think And the sports betting thing's a great example of it. I think they're just spreading themselves too thin, and they're kind of casting their nets in all sorts of different ways that to Disney fans is confusing. But for someone who's an ESPN and sports fan and has been liking the Walt Disney Company because of ESPN's relationship with the company, they don't see that as being weird. I don't think that's weird for like ESPN, the company, to be doing, but I think it's weird that with ESPN being under Disney, that's what makes it weird to me. I think there are things that make sense that were acquired during I'm just going to call it Bob Iger's spending spree and like buying up all the different companies spree. I think there are things that make a lot of sense. Pixar was acquired under Iger.
Well, they were so close anyway. It was almost like the same company.
I mean, a lot of people didn't even realize it was different. I think Marvel, and I do think Star Wars, I think both Lucasfilm and Marvel make sense under the umbrella because they're very similarly focused. A lot of these other things, they just don't make sense to me. Even things like ABC, I think, could part ways and be its own thing. I have never understood Fox. That might just be me.
I think what they're going to do... Well, I think Fox is important because Marvel's license was split with Fox for some of the licensing. So I think like they wanted X-Men and stuff, they had to get that from Fox. So I think by merging with them, they were able to consolidate that. Now,
that was a huge thing to have purchased for just a tiny little.
Well, and now they still share Spider-Man with Sony.
Yes,
so that's a whole other thing.
Yep.
But I think what's going to happen is I think Disney is going to shed ABC and ESPN and all of the things that are starting to be complicated in the current climate of things, which is like cable networks and stuff. I think that's a challenging market to be in now with streaming. So I think they're going to divest themselves from all that. I think when this is all said and done, I think ABC, ESPN, National Geographic, which is kind of interesting because I actually like the National Geographics under Disney, but I can see I wouldn't be upset, I guess, if they went away. But I think they're all going to get sold off. I think they're going to get branched off to something else. And I think Disney's going to keep, like you said, they're going to keep Pixar, obviously. Mm-hmm. They're going to keep Marvel. They're going to keep Star Wars. They're going to keep a good chunk of 20th century. I think like the movie business stuff, but I think they'll get rid of all the rest. And then I think, and if they do keep some of the TV stuff from Fox, I think what they'll do is they'll license those to other platforms so they don't have them on Disney Plus, but other companies will pay them to have them on their platforms like Netflix, which was really profitable back in the day when it was just Netflix. They would license this stuff all the time. So I think all of that will go away. I think the main Disney company with Disney Animation, all that stuff is going to stay. I think the theme parks are going to stay because I think that's something they would be really silly to spin off.
I still think that's Disney at the core.
Yeah. I think that's what's going to happen. I think Disney Plus will stay, and I think that they'll merge some Hulu stuff into it.
It was just it was really eye-opening when we were at the studios. Do you remember? We were at the studios. I don't even remember what building it was in, and there was this massive wall that the person that we were with explained, oh yeah, these are all of the companies under the Disney umbrella. It was massive. There were things on that wall that I hadn't even heard of, but it was, under the Walt Disney Company umbrella. So I just think it's too big, and it's, as much as I love Disney, I think they need to rein it in.
Yeah.
I think they need to rein it in so that they can focus on the things that matter most.
Yeah. And there's also the elephant in the room. We did talk about this a little bit on the Hub Crawl that'll be coming out this 3 weeks from now, probably. No, it's
the 1st.
Yeah, September 1st. But basically, there's been this rumor that's like come up again, which is Apple buying Disney. I think Apple might be a good company to buy like the ABC network and maybe some of the Fox stuff off of them. Mm-hmm. The only plus I would see with Apple and Disney is that Apple has so much money that if they did buy Disney, they could just get rid of their debt. Like they could just in cash pay off the debt. That is like the best thing they could do for Disney. But Apple's a technology company. Mm-hmm. I just don't see...
I think you'd overcomplicate
I don't see Tim Cook or whoever's going to succeed Tim Cook wanting to deal with movies and theme parks. Like, it's a totally different business.
Well, and that's part of the problem now with Iger finding a replacement, is it's such the Walt Disney Company is so unique because of its
multifaceted
empire of all sorts of different things. I mean, you've got cartoons to sports to now gambling to, like, it's a lot. It's a lot to be the one person to oversee all of the different things, because we don't just have like multiple cooks in the kitchen. We have multiple cooks in multiple kitchens with multiple recipes, with multiple pots going. Like, it's complicated. It's really complicated. So it's hard for someone to step in and kind of take over. So I don't want, and I don't like the rumors of Apple taking over. I think that would just make things worse. I don't think financially, I could see how it could be beneficial financially, but long run, I think it would just overcomplicate and make things worse. I do think that it would be good if they maybe did more, and Eric talked about this, so I'm stealing Eric's thought, collaborating. I don't mind you doing collaborations with other companies and working on projects together, but I don't think we need to. I think Disney is in its current state because of all of the merging. So I don't think another merge is gonna. I feel like we're just digging holes.
Sure. Well, I think like I said, I think the big thing that Disney's, if you were gonna pick one thing that people are worried about why Disney, quote unquote, in trouble right now, is their debt that they have from 20th Century Fox and all of that. So if somebody who was a multi-billionaire came in and just absolved all of their debt, that would fix most of their problems. I mean, they still have to do things with like the television network and all that stuff, for sure. But I think that debt, they just don't like what can they do with it? They can't do anything with it. So part of the rumor is that they will sell off some of these things, and because of things that I don't understand fully, financially they can sell the debt with the company and see how it goes. But we'll see how it goes. I don't think we're going to lose the Walt Disney Company for sure. I don't think it makes sense. I don't think it's likely that they're going to somebody's going to come in and hostile take over the company and split it into a bunch of companies and sell it off for parts. I just think that would be really stupid for anybody to do, because things like the movie studios, for the most part, the theme parks, 100% make a lot of money. Why would you take that? And you can't. I don't think you can separate the theme parks from the movie studios and the TV franchises, because the parks feed off of each other. So you can't just have the parks without that, because then you'd have to pay licensing and all that crap. Anyway, what do you guys think? Let us know. Send us an email, feedback@dlweekly.net. Contact us on social media if you have any thoughts on this. Leave a comment on this episode post. It's very complicated, but I thought we had to talk about it. Teresa, I think, agreed with me that it's just complicated. I think a lot of people don't know about it.
Way too much for us to try and discuss in a news segment.
Yes.
So we hope you all enjoyed our deep dive into the earnings call. Maybe a little more of our personal opinions than you were hoping for, but we provided those for you as well. So
it's okay. I'll be the only weekly tier without an answer. Make sure you send your questions to Producer James or Producer Vern at trivia@DLWeekly.net.
Well, welcome back to Trivia Land. It's been a fun one to be back, hasn't it?
That it has.
Yeah. Well, let's not wait any longer. Let's get into these answers for our 4 trivia questions this week. The first one from Kevin M. In the Pirates of the Caribbean attraction, how many hats does the balancing pirate, the hat thief, have on his head? Well, it's kind of a trick question because it seems to change based on what the Imagineers are doing. I have seen videos with 5, with 1, with 6, with 8. Yeah, there's been a weird amount of stacks on how many hats he has on his head.
But not 23 or 33.
Never as many as you two are throwing out there. There are a lot of really tall hats, which kind of throw it off.
Oh, sure.
What is it?
He's known as the Hat Thief.
Oh.
The Hat Thief.
But there have been some colorful hats and some interesting looks. Some of them do get smushed down there, so there might be closer to like 12 or so.
Oh, yeah, I suppose.
But, yeah, a lot of them are just tall. And
that's why I was thinking, but then you whiz past that section of the attraction so quick. I feel like it's hard to take it all in, because there's so much going on.
Do you want to know what I always focus on at that spot?
What? The foot?
How I'm trying to figure out how I'm looking at the ridiculousness of the Imagineers that this animatronic is somehow balancing between, like, how do they do that? I'm trying to figure out how it's a weight distribution thing, obviously, but like,
I think
it still boggles my brain.
I think the boat is not actually floating. I think that the boat is moving. I think the animatronic has hinges that can move.
Yeah,
and I think they're moving the boat.
That's like not actually just floating.
Correct.
That's a good thought. That's a good thought. But that's what
I don't know if that's
I
correct.
always like sit there and think, and I'm just amazed at the how the animatronic's set up. Same thing when we're at the end with all the shooting pirates when they're like stacked on each other and stuff like that.
Sure.
I'm like, this is so cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so neither of us got that.
No. Question number 2. In DCA, name one of the 2 attractions with the shortest height requirement. Of course, of attractions that actually have a height requirement. You gave me Soarin' and the Emotional Whirlwind or Soarin' and the Radiator Springs Racers. Either way, it's wrong. You were very close when you're thinking Radiator Springs Racers because you could have given me either of the other attractions in Radiator Springs.
They have height requirements?
Mater's Junkyard Jamboree and Luigi's Rollickin' Roadsters both have a height requirement of 32 inches.
Wow.
AKA 2'8". Not much. But Soarin', Radiator Springs Racers, and a couple other ones are 40 inches tall, including Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout.
Was it only those 2?
Only those 2 have that short
Does
of a height
Emotional
requirement.
Whirlwind have a height requirement?
It does not.
I thought
Chris was yelling in the chat, the Jumpin' Jellyfish.
Jumpin' Jellyfish, 40 inches. Same as Guardians, Radiator Springs, Soarin', and the Silly Symphony Swings if you're riding tandem.
Interesting.
Fear standing next to the rules.
Yeah. Okay.
The rules with like the information.
Like pregnant people shouldn't ride
Yeah,
kind of thing, yeah.
Or like motion
Yep.
sickness and spinning. Yeah, look, any height.
So there they are. Moving on, our third question. What is the name of the device that sends out smells from the candy shop on Main Street? This device was invented by Walt Disney Imagineer Bob McCarthy. It's akin to the famed artillery howitzer. The smellitzer is used to lodge smells instead of shells.
You're welcome.
I don't know where you pulled that from, but that is impressive.
some deep crevice somewhere.
We could just
Disney
stop
brain.
trivia now, James. Teresa took the gold for the week.
Teresa has won. It's so true.
It's probably because our next answer is also wrong.
The final question, with so much confidence from listener Sarah P. Club 33 is modeled after something from the 1964 New York World's Fair. What would that be? The answer we were looking for is the VIP executive lounges created by Pavilion sponsors.
Oh.
Congratulations, you two. I think that's right on.
Yeah.
Ford, Pepsi, whatever it is.
Sponsors.
I would also like to say, I'm going to put my nerd glasses on and go, well, actually, James, when you're talking about the name of the World's Fair, it's actually the 1964-65 World's Fair.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
There he goes again.
Wow. What an indignant fella.
I'm like, what's the guy's name from Wreck-It Ralph? Knows more?
Yeah, knows more. Where you just do all the good Google searching.
Oh, he's so cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love knows more. But anyway, what a good turnaround for you two. A rough start, strong finish. We'll have to see how future episodes of Trivia go. And you can help us out with trivia questions. Send producer Vern and I an email. It's trivia@dlweekly.net.
Well, we will be back next week with more Disneyland news and information.
Until then, go out and enjoy the parks.
Please remain seated until the podcast comes to a complete stop and the doors have opened. Then collect your belongings, watch your head, and step carefully from the episode. On behalf of all of our crew, thanks for traveling with us, and we hope you have a happy and memorable visit here at DL Weekly.